Tapu, Assalamu alaikum, Namaste, Haru Nefer, may Buddha bless you. Grand Rising. This is Qesankh Keperu with another exciting video for you. And in this video, we're going to teach you or talk about how to empower yourself. But before I do that, I want you to hit the like button on this video. If this is your first time to my channel, welcome. Hit the subscribe button to get notifications on when I go live and when I upload recorded videos. If you want to know more about my spiritual teachings, you can download a free ebook. I think we have 4 ebooks in total. Scroll down below, look at the links, click on the links, download the ebook today and start reading. Now, after that, if you want to take your spiritual journey to the next level, you can become a Patreon supporter for as little as $1, $5, $20 per month. It's up to you. You can cancel at any time. You'll get instructional videos on the esoteric, videos that'll teach you how to put together a magical amulet, how to do meditation, how to do lucid dreaming, how to communicate with the ancestors, how to summon spirits for your protection. And I just did a video on the do's and don'ts of having a polygamous relationship. And if you are an Osir level supporter, you'll get all your oracle readings for free. And just a word on that, I do that live on Patreon. So the live broadcast is once a month. And if you want to get a reading done, you'll see a notification in Patreon. Go and view, open it up on that day and that time, and then you'll be able to get a live reading done. So, last but not least, share this video with family and friends so we can get the revolution started. Annette Chirac, how are you? Well, there's a couple of things I want to talk to you about that are very, very, very important. First off, if you're not a member of Patreon, please become one. I just did a very good video on dealing with a polygamous relationship, how to have a happy and harmonious one. And we know that polygamous relationships are governed by the goddess Ma'at, which is giving, seeking nothing in return, which is true love. And Heteru is a love, but it's a conditional love, because Heteru loves things to be pleasurable. She loves to be complimented. And there's nothing wrong with that. But remember, Heteru, his joy comes from inside. So she doesn't need outside stimuli for joy. She's a wonderful goddess. She's the goddess of the entertainment industry. So when I'm making my movies, I always pour libation to her. Now, I was cruising, driving, looking fly, as I usually do. And I actually spotted what I thought was a mirage, but it wasn't. It was a Barnes & Noble bookstore. And I didn't think they had any more left, you know. I thought Amazon really just Jeff Bezos like killed them all, but they did. And luckily, when I walked in, they were running a special. It was only 15 bucks on this book here, Ancient Egypt. And you know, I've seen a lot of books like this, and I was like, this is probably nothing. But then when I went in there and I opened it up, it was really, really good. And it had pictures, and it's pretty accurate too, you know. Oh my goodness, what did I open it up to? I opened it up to Heteru's page. I didn't even know that. I haven't started reading his book, but this is Hathor, Heteru's page. You can see, you know, it's Heteru by the sun disk and the calves, the horns. So that's funny. We're just talking about her. See, she gives you feedback. There you go. That's how the gods work. So it goes through the temple ritual, you know, and everything. And I need to focus a little bit more on our ancient society of Kemet and especially Atlantis, because there is so much new evidence coming out that backs up our assertion that they were not primitive societies. Look at this one, Horus and Set. And Set was a big deity in ancient Kemet. You see, we understood that there was a need for Set, because Set, evil, allows you to exercise your spiritual muscle, and without that, you would just be stagnant. Now, think about Rocky. If he didn't have Apollo Creed to fight, he would have never gotten into the good shape as he was. He would never have been ready to fight. What's his name? Mr. T. But what's his character's name? I forgot. But he would never have grown strong enough. So we know in the Kemetic spiritual tradition that the enemy is merely it's there to help you spiritually grow. And it's not really your enemy, because Tahuti tells us nothing has equality in and of itself. So if you get a chance to go to a Barnes Noble bookstore, it's only 15 bucks, and this is like really good. 15 bucks, and it has the Holy Trinity there. And I'm going to show you some more. Yeah, you got coffins and sarcophagi. Really nice. I mean, it goes through everything. Oh, here goes the role of women in temples, things like that. So check this book out. I should have picked up a couple, because I could just give it, sell it to you guys for same price, but just you pay shipping and handling. Maybe I'll do that. If you want one, just email me and I'll pick it up for you. And you just have to pay shipping and handling. So I'm going to put my email address here in the chat. So if you want this book, it'll cost you the $15 plus shipping and handling. And you just send me an email and I'll tell you what the shipping and handling costs will be for where you're located. I do not ship out of state. So if you're like in Hawaii, well, not Hawaii, but well, if you're in Europe, Paris, Italy, I'm not shipping there. I can't do that. It's just so much work to go through to get something through customs. I once sent my goddaughter some money. This is a funny story. Her name is Bella. So I wired her some money for her birthday. And no, actually it was for, well, I promised to go to Disneyland with her and I couldn't go to Disneyland. So I gave her mother the money to take her to Disneyland. So I wired it to the UK because that's where she's at, right? And I said, have fun at Disneyland, Bella. Well, I didn't know that there's a naval ship called Bella. There's an actual naval ship called Bella. So the money was flagged by the military because they thought it was code for Attack Bella, the ship. And I'm like, are you guys serious? This money, which when you wire it should go immediately to somebody, was held up for over 6 weeks. And I'm literally losing my mind going, why is this money like held up? Well, the name Bella is also the name of a naval ship, and that keyword has been flagged, and the money has been stopped. And then to get the money there to the UK, I had to go through like hundreds of questions. Who is Bella? How old is Bella? Who's Bella's mother? Who's Bella's father? I mean, I was like, I'll never do this again. Never do this again. And it just happened to be my luck to mention her name, and it happened to be the name of a naval ship. That is just funny. But anyway, if you want the book, take a, just let me know. It's beautiful too. The front cover, look how glossy that is, shiny. And then you have the back, illustrated reference of myths. And one day I'm going to break down the whole field of Egyptology, because it's taught incorrectly. And it was even taught incorrectly by Dr. Yusuf bin Jamakanin. And I know that's hard for people to believe. I had people call me up and say, are you saying you're smarter than Dr. bin Jamakanin? I said, well, he got it wrong. A lot of things he was teaching was wrong. And people felt some type of way about what I was saying. But the truth is, one day I'll break it down. And also, it's not just him, but it's also these Hotep hustlers out there as well. They're teaching it wrong. And again, I'll break it down when I have some time. Right now, we're in the middle of producing a movie. That's some good news. We're producing a movie, which will be shot in New York. And if any one of you want to come to the set, please let me know. And I'll be honest with you, it's been driving me crazy. It's so much work. It is so much work. And we're all, my producer, production manager, it's taking a toll on us. But it's going to be a great movie. It's a movie about spiritual healing. So it's going to be good. Hey, Hatepu Black, what's going on? Good to see you. Also, oh yeah, some good news. Many of you may not know this, but we have a new addition to our family. Yeah, a little baby. He's just a little baby. His name is Jazz. Right now, until I can think of that better name. I was going to call him Jazzy J, so he can be cool. You know? And he's in the other room sleeping a lot. And I'm nervous because I'm going in there and checking on him. And I'm like, is he all right? Is he? I'm scared. You know. And I was driving in the car and I'm just looking over and making sure he's okay. I'm like, oh my God, you know, just a bit nervous. So yeah, new addition to the family, born on, got the birth certificate, February 20th, which I didn't think anything of that. But it's funny, but then it hit me. Wait a minute, I was born on February 22nd. So Jazz is born on February 20th. So anyway, on my next video, I'm going to introduce you to Jazz, so everyone can meet him. Right now he's sleeping. He's going to be sleeping a lot. You know, I go in there periodically to check on him, make sure he's okay. Scared, nervous, don't want nothing to happen. You know, it's to me it's like it's a big responsibility and big commitment. I'm not used to that word commitment. I have a problem with that. You know, so anyway. New addition to the family. So we'll say Tepu to Jazz. And what else? So anyway, I've decided to live my life in a certain way. I've decided that polygamous relationships are okay for me. I've decided that I am not going to be a smoker and a drinker or do drugs. I decided that I'm going to meditate 3 times a day for at least an hour. I decided that I'm going to get up at 3 or 4 a.m. to meditate. I decided that I'm going to make a list of all my flaws and work on them through hypnosis to purge myself. You see, my beloved, we're dealing with an oligarchy, a less than 1% of the population who rules the planet, who rules the other 99% of the population. And these people are evil. They have been inbred. Their family line has been here for thousands of years. And that they have been genetically modified to not feel empathy, sympathy, to not love. But what they do have is a thirst for blood, chaos, and destruction. And unfortunately, they are ruling the planet at this time. And they don't care about you. They will wipe an entire population out and have a good night's sleep. Now, you and I we have a conscience. It's been built into us. But these individuals don't have that. If you and I did that, we couldn't sleep. In fact, I often think about the person who dropped the bomb on Hiroshima. How do you live with yourself? So these people have put together a plan of where they want to take the world in the next 500 years. They have long-term plans and they map all of this out. And part of this is to push their whole diversity scheme. They don't care about the LGBTQ community. They don't care about the ADOS community, the FBA community, the Asian community, the Irish community. They don't care. They don't care about the Ku Klux Klan, the skinheads. They don't care. They're very diabolical. They are super geniuses. They are an evil genius whose goal is is to cause as much bloodshed and chaos and havoc as possible to enslave the population. But the way that they want to enslave the population is not by might, not by a coup d'etat, not by a military, because they already have all the most advanced stuff. They have lasers, they have transporters, they have ships that can go to other planets. You'll never see this technology because they hide it. But what they want you to do is they want you to be okay with your enslavement. They want you to be a willing slave. So what does this mean? This means that they have to program you through mass media to accept 1 + 1 = 9. Read George Orwell's 1984. So they have to mess with our minds to such a degree that we accept anti-life philosophies, that we'll willingly walk into the furnace and kill ourselves. That's where they're getting. That's where they want to go. And we're headed in that direction. Many of us, when they said, put the mask on, we put the mask on. Without question, without opposition. Never asked the right questions. When we're not happy with something in government, what do? We protest. That does nothing. Somebody once came to me and asked me this, if I was in favor of a revolution. And this is what I said. I said, if the system starts to break down and fall apart, don't save it. Let it fail, let it fall, and we will rebuild a new system. But on that same note, you must understand that the privileges that you enjoy in this country, the freedoms that you enjoy, come at a great cost for those in third world countries. In fact, you have no idea what we're doing in third world countries. The raping, the pillaging, the removing of democratically elected leaders to put in place puppet leaders that do our bidding. This country enacted a law with the United Nations that prevents us from going to the United Nations and holding the United States accountable for human rights violations. Because the United Nations is supposed to be the check and balances. Malcolm X was going to present a case to the United Nations saying that the United States has committed crimes against humanity. He was looking for human rights, and Dr. King was looking for civil rights. But when the United States got whiff of that, they immediately put in place a law that prevented them from being held accountable for human rights violations, even though the United Nations unanimously decided and put out an edict that said the United States, in the manner in which they treat African Americans, is in violation of human rights. Castro once talked about this when the United Nations said, the United States said that he was an evil leader, that he tortured his people, he oppressed them. Castro said, how are you in any position to talk about what I am doing when the manner in which you treat African Americans is a crime? And he was right. And with that, the fight for reparations, look at how they push back on that. Whereas every other demographic, Jews, Irish, Japanese, Native Americans, get reparations, but when we ask for reparations, we are denied. This is because they have a plan for us to reduce our numbers. They don't want us here in the next 200 to 300 years. They want to water down the race, which is why you see commercials of all these interracial couples. Nothing wrong with interracial marriages and dating, but when they're pushing it, they have a clandestine agenda. Now, where am I going with this? I'm here to tell you that when you see these mass shooters, when you see these new diseases, monkeypox or whatever it is, you must understand that behind all of this is a puppet master, and that you are being fooled and manipulated to the highest degree. And that your nightly news has the agenda of creating rifts between Blacks and white people because it's easier to divide and conquer the population when they're not on the same page and not aligned. So the nightly news will put out all of the stuff about white supremacists doing this, hurting Black people, and Black people doing this, because they want that tension. And in fact, you should never believe anything that you see on your nightly news. It's all media propaganda. It's all a lie. And if you think, well, Qesankh, you're being hyperbolic. No, it's not a lie. There's some truth to what they're saying. No, there's not. There's no truth there. There's no truth there. Unfortunately, many of us can't see what's going on beneath the surface because the surface is painted like a Disney movie. So we rather accept the idea of the Disney movie than look at the reality of what's really going on because it's terrifying. Because you don't want to believe it. You don't want to accept it, that such a thing is going on in the world. That the world is ruled by trillionaires who are plotting your destruction. You don't want to believe that. You want to believe the Disney movie. And there's nothing wrong with you and nothing wrong with that, because typically human nature is, it wants to avoid pain. So to facilitate that, it accepts the Disney movie. And going back to the story of what I was telling the young man about revolutions, I was saying that in order to correct this system, which is corrupt, are you willing to give up all the privileges you currently have? Water, food, a roof over your head? Because the true revolution is going to remove all those privileges, your iPhone, and for a long period of time will create hardship. But out of that hardship, a new world will be built, a better world, a just world. Some people don't want to go through that hardship. They're just like, keep the current scenario rolling. I can work within the system. You cannot work within a corrupt system because the system is corrupt to the core. There's no negotiating with evil. They want your destruction. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's no negotiating with them. There's no trying to understand why they're so psychopathic and evil. You're never going to understand. You're never going to understand that. Don't try to. And this whole idea of political change and voting, you're just removing one evil person from one political party and putting in another evil person from another political party. And all it is just window dressing. They tricked you through the Hegelian dialectic, meaning they give you only two choices. And no matter what you pick, they win because they're backing both sides. In war, World War I, World War II, they financed both sides. It was good for the economy. So what's the point? What am I trying to say? Your salvation does not lie in you going and joining that fraud movement, BLM, or some other movement to protest or do a writing campaign. Your salvation lies in you empowering yourself, becoming God, coming to the realization that you are Osir, coming to the realization that you have power within you, because this reality cannot exist without the observer. That observer is you. Oh, the eggshell. Oh, it's deep. Yeah, yeah. I feel you. I feel you. So what I strive to do in my personal life is to become God, to work on developing my powers of magic and juju and voodoo and santeria, to become a master babalao, shaman, priest. That is the first step, is to save yourself. When you're on the airplane and in emergency, the mask comes down, what do they tell you to do? Don't put it on your child, put it on you first. You have to save yourself first. You have to develop yourself to such a potential of the power that's there within you can change the reality before you. See, they're okay, and they actually promote that. Yes, yes, protest, join a political party. They encourage that because they know it doesn't do anything. Yes, take so-and-so to court when the laws are corrupt. When they can pick a jury that'll side with the prosecution or the defense. It's all corrupt. So let it fall. And amidst the devastation, you will rise out like the judgment card in the tarot. You will rise up like Osir. You will rise up like Jesus. And you will be your own savior. You don't need an outside savior. You don't need a proxy. The other day, real story. I'm walking down the street, trying to figure out where I was. I was walking down the street. I can't remember. And I was thinking to myself, I said, you know what? I haven't been practicing my money manifestation technique. Now, I do money manifestation all the time, but there's a particular technique that I kind of perfected where if you do it right, money will appear on the streets in front of you. And that's on Patreon if you want to know how to do that. Very easy technique, and it works. It's very effective. So I was walking down the street and I was saying to myself, man, it's been a while since I practiced that technique. I should get back into that. 10 minutes later, I'm walking and I see this guy kick something. And then I look down, it's money rolled up. And no one else sees it but me. So I go, I grab it, I pick it up, and I'm like, holy smokes. I was just talking about the technique. And now here's the money. But see, when you're God, such feats should not surprise you when you know who you truly are, because that's what the society doesn't want you to do. You see, this is why they put in place these pastor ministers and these fraudulent religions, to keep you from searching within, to getting rid of the ego, from using your third eye. They're afraid of you doing that. Because once you do, it's game over for them. Lady Marie, doesn't matter. You're manifesting the money. You're manifesting. You're shifting to a different parallel reality where the money exists. See, you've already taken on a sebek tem. Tem means negative. You've taken on a false belief, and that's why the magic's not going to work. It doesn't matter how poor people are around you or what's going on, as long as you do the technique right and you believe. That's all there is to it. Hey, Max, yes, there is a difference between an omnidimensional being and an interdimensional being. And then there's the intra, I-N-T-R-A, intra-dimensional beings. We can get into that in a different broadcast, but that's a good idea. I should cover that. Don't have these limiting beliefs of like, well, I can never like find $500. Yes, you can. I have found gold cards, various other credit cards, money. I think one of the first things that I manifested was a $50 bill sitting on a crowded, lying on the sidewalk in crowded Manhattan. $50 bill. No one could see it. People just walking right over it. I just looked down and I picked it up. And when you find the money, the door, sebek, is opening up to you to find more money. So if you find, like, say, $5, then work on finding 50, then 100, then 200. It's a wonderful game, and when you see it happening before your eyes, it'll freak you out. I remember when I found $50 twice. There was another situation where there was these construction workers all in a circle, talking to one another, and sitting in the middle of the circle was a $50 bill. And I'm walking, I'm like, are you telling me that nobody there can see that $50 bill? And they can't, because it's meant for you. So I walked through them, picked up the $50, and kept it rolling. This is why we empower ourselves. Now, this is a little trick, but it's meant to instill faith in you that your power is there and it works. You can next ask the deity to show you signs that they exist if you want. But I digress. There is no pleading with these ruling elites. They are hoarding money, hoarding technology, hoarding advances in health. They have cures for cancer and AIDS. They have all of that locked away. You'll never see it. They are injecting toxins into the water, the air. The chemtrails are killing you. Those things are killing you. But it's in micro doses. You can tell, because when I was born in Virginia, when we used to walk around, the gnats would fly and follow you. Now you go down there, there's no gnats. They're dead. That tells you that there's something going on with the toxins in the air, poisoning you. Because they don't want you to have a long life expectancy, which in ancient Egypt was 120 years. So think about that. When I was watching the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial, I got disgusted on how these Hollywood people act. And I remember when I was in that Barnes & Noble store, I was looking at the entertainment section and reading these books written by these celebrities. They're so self-centered and egotistical. It's disgusting. Not one of them writes a book about how to awaken the God within you, how to find peace in this lifetime. It's all about them and what they supposedly have gone through. And they're so materialistic. Then when someone like Jim Carrey comes along and talks about how you don't need material things, how happiness is from within, how the industry is corrupt, people look at him like he's crazy. No, he's not crazy. He's telling you the truth. That's a good point, Lady Marie. Yes, exactly right. That's what they're doing. They perform the rituals. That's how many of them became famous stars. Esoteric rituals were performed to propel them to stardom. And I don't want to get too deep into this, but I'll give you a little secret. And I'm not going to say any more because, of course, they'll take my video down. Somebody was questioning about some of these child actors in some of these films, why they're bad. Their acting is bad. And I said, well, why do you think their acting is bad? When there's so many child actors they could have picked from and auditioned. Why would they pick a bad child actor? Can anybody in the chat tell me that? If you can tell me that, I'll give you a free book. If you can tell me, like, why when you see these Hollywood movies with some of these child actors, they're horrible actors. Does anyone know why? Take a guess. Thank you, Lady Marie. I appreciate that. Because they're really, I don't know why YouTube is on my butt. They really like hit my videos hard, like demonetizing them and all that, But, so thank you. So does anyone know why some of these movies have bad child actors? When Hollywood has this pick and they could actually get, why is it like that? They can actually get good actors, good child actors. Anybody know? I'm going to tell you. It's because, yes, that's it. But she didn't really get on to exactly it, though. But she kind of hit it close to home. Because there's a lot of pedophilia in Hollywood. A lot of pedophiles. I will say no more. Do your research. Do your research. So my thing is this. Thank you, Jennifer. My thing is this. For the world to change, you have to change. And there's nothing wrong with you changing and awakening your powers. That's a good thing. So get to it. Start dedicating yourself to awakening the God within you. Stop messing around and contributing to the society. Set up a line of demarcation. Say, no, I won't go see that movie because it promotes X, Y, and Z. No, I won't go to college to get a master's or a PhD because what they're teaching is wrong. No, I won't support this pit pastor minister because he's part of the oligarchy and he's teaching us to rely on false idols when the power is within us. Set up that line and then dedicate yourself to spiritually awakening the God within you and communicate with the spirits, the ancestors, and the interdimensional beings, and they will come to your assistance. They will join the fight with you. You are not alone. But if you perpetually encourage the system, support the system, then the ancestors won't talk to you. They won't communicate with you. The interdimensional beings will stay away from you, the good kind, because you are an agent then. But if you make up your mind today to live Ma'at, then you will gain their assistance. You will gain their power. You don't have to be perfect. I'm not perfect. I make a lot of mistakes. But all that they're asking you to do is to try. Try to live truth. I just saw this brother, I'm not going to mention his channel, but he claims to teach Kemetic stuff. Then he did a partnership with a Muslim guy from the Nation of Islam, and they start talking about metaphysics, right? And I'm like, well, if you know about Kemet, then you know the Bible and Quran are false. They're plagiarized. How can you sit there with somebody from the nation and have a pleasant conversation? It doesn't work with me. I'm not going to sit there and have a conversation with you when what you're following is nothing but a book of lies. If anything, I'm going to challenge you, point that stuff out, and ask you, why are you supporting this evil, corrupt system? Do you know that some of these Muslims who pretend to be so, well, for one thing, they're all fanatical. Everyone's called Muhammad, Jeff Muhammad, Michael Muhammad. That's crazy. Sorry. Muhammad went around killing people. He also was illiterate. So many of these wealthy Muslims who amass their wealth due to oil, what do? They participate in the American evils. They go and they pay money to hook up with white girls. They love white girls. They just like, they buy them clothing, cars, houses. These are the committed Muslims. Look, for example, Janet Jackson, very wealthy, I think Muslim prince he was, maybe not a prince, but he's very wealthy billionaire. Paid Janet Jackson to be his concubine. And as soon as the contract ended, she took off. She was like, bye. And part of the stipulation of the contract was she had to have a baby by him. As soon as the contract ended, she left. That's disgusting. It's disgusting. But they don't want to tackle that. And Malcolm was wrong. Islam is not the true religion. And if he had lived long enough, he would have become enlightened on many other things. Oh, second, no, that's not it. What we were talking about was the child actors. They put them. They're not picking the child actors based on acting ability. They're picking the child actors based on how attracted they are to the child actor. They're pedophiles. So let's get real on these people who are supposedly so high and mighty and into the Quran or this and that. Most of these pimp pastor ministers, some of them behind the scenes are gay, pedophiles, con artists, cheating on their wives, and they're hiding it. Because they don't have the ability to awaken within them the God that can prevent them from doing these wayward and backwards things. See, when you meditate, you're literally programming your spirit to do right. It's the same thing as hypnotherapy. But they think just by reading a book, all of a sudden, their whole behavior will change. Your behavior does not change from reading a book. Because what controls behavior is the right brain. And the right brain is influenced by what? Visual images and emotions. So you must take into trance a visual image of what you want to happen in life. This is why Osset, devotion, she symbolizes devotion, is also trance state. So the wandering sage also too, they're worshiping Saturn. So it's a connection between. I'm not going to go into that. That's going to take us off another thing. But thank you for pointing that out. So I want you to understand what's going here in the con game. These books are written by man. The Bible, King James. Who was King James? He was a pedophile. He loved young boys. Absolutely, cats can see him. Cats can see him. That's why the Egyptians really held the cats up as very sacred, which is Basset. You know. So I want all of you to make a commitment to live your life in a very spiritual way and do it in increments. You don't have to wake up one day and I'm spiritual. No more meat for me and this and that. No, you don't have to do it to that extreme. Take it a step at a time, but at least get on the path. And then when you get on the path to awaken the power within yourself, the ruling elite, their power over the world becomes less and less and less and less. And as I said, stop believing the media. They tell lies. They tell lies. Television. Please don't forget to hit the like button. Donate to this channel if you find this message of use. When you come into a knowledge and you are eyewitness to the magnificent wonders that you can achieve, when you actually see the things that you can achieve, you'll never look back. And you will wonder why you were fooled all of these years. Ah, yes. Yes, 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 yes. That's right. That's right. Construct of the SAR is many separated parts that must be united. That is right. That is right. Right. Saturn. Ah, Saturn. That's it. Suit on Sutek set. Yes. You guys are on it, boy. You guys are on it. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much. So, again, if you can support the channel, that would greatly be appreciated. This is Qesankh Ma Keperu, son of my aunt Tahuti. My aunt is the beautiful goddess Hedaru. Until my next video, I'm in the Ra.